was so beautiful.
Yay, good
Hello, good morning, good
morning
evening, good afternoon, wherever you are
in the world, in
in the
the globe.
world.
Good
It's like an opening
morning,
tagline,
good
isn't it?
afternoon,
Yeah.
and good evening wherever you're in the globe.
Wow.
I hope you're having a great day, everybody. This is Merma Alvarez, and I have a guest again.
I guess I won't stay away.
So we are here for the, as promised, we are here for the 90 days Think and Grow Rich Challenge. And we are on our day 3. 87 days more to go, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
we promised yesterday, if you are following us, yesterday on our day 2, we said that we are going to we're discussing the book.
Where's the book?
Where's
Let
the
me get
book?
the book.
The book
Where's that book?
for the entire 90 days. We are going to be discussing, we started discussing, and we will be discussing for the entire 90 days the
So,
book
you got the
written
old school
by
one, the original, and then you got the
Napoleon Hill.
which
Napoleon
is backwards.
Hill. Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon, not Hill.
Napoleon Hill, the Think and Grow Rich.
Not
So this is his book, Think and Grow Rich
Back.
by Napoleon Hill.
backwards.
His original book,
Yeah, let's see.
and this is original.
Yeah.
Okay, so
1937.
yeah, so we'll be
The other one's from
discussing
the
that
50s.
for the
And they
entire
still
night.
the book's still in print. I think I have a paperback somewhere, but yeah, it's still in
Yeah,
print.
there's books, there's
Continuously printed
there's
since
ebook, there's audiobook, and everything in
in
between.
between.
So
Start all with the red one though.
now
That's the first one.
yesterday we said
Yes.
that we are going to discuss who was Napoleon Hill, the author of the book. So uh, before
Yeah.
anything, like, he was someone that spent years studying successful people and to discover what made them different. He studied different kinds of successful people.
Yeah, I don't know if he's
to
like the
learn
OG, but
about
I think
them.
he's one of the early people to analyze business success, right? And there've been a few books. I think Bill Gates loves one of these weird books. I have to remember what it is, but it was like in a 70s book, and it was showing the examples of success. So, but I think Napoleon Hill was definitely one of the early ones to look at business success, right? And then you have Dale Carnegie looking at probably like life success, right? But
So
I
before
think,
that,
but
so
Napoleon Hill's
yeah,
like mainly focused on like business success.
yeah. So I will
What
let you discuss further
yeah.
Napoleon Hill. Who
So
was Napoleon
yeah,
Hill?
so he's like a writer, okay? He's a writer and a researcher, right? Who he looked in like his life work, right? It was his passion too, to understand success. And then he a lot of people had like theories and stuff, but he basically started interviewing people, look for patterns, right? So if you keep hearing the same thing from highly successful people, then right, even today, on TikTok, right, they got the guy that runs up. I don't know if you guys have seen that. He's like a kid who runs up on people in like expensive cars and
Yeah,
oh
I
hey,
see that.
like everyone's seen that,
Yeah, I
right?
see that.
He's got
Yeah,
millions
yeah.
of subscribers.
The billionaires.
The billionaires, like what makes you successful, blah
He's
blah.
successful.
So, and it's usually some of these things that Napoleon Hill discusses, right?
Mhm.
So those patterns, and you can hear the patterns, right? If you watch enough of those. So he's looking at qualities from similar people, right, who are successful, probably rich too. Confidence, persistence, right? Self-discipline. You wake up in the morning. You do certain things, right? Start your day. And also a passion probably for learning too, right? Always want to learn new things. We went to Michikaku, actually the famous astrophysicist,
author, yeah.
and the shock out of the whole thing. I heard a lot of black hole conversations and everything like that, but what really surprised me was Elon Musk reading Asimov, okay? And that really like, wow, so you're basically reading science fiction from the late 1940s, early 1950s, and you're actually like going to make it happen, right? So science fiction won't be fiction anymore, right? And if you look at the old science fiction talking about going to the moon, what the moon's going to be like, it's all really corny, right? Or those 50s TV shows, right? But we've been to the moon, right? Some people believe that. And, this is, it's done, right? Or maybe it's not done. So but I'm just saying, so it's like that really shocked me about Elon Musk, right? That he went back and looked at a lot of science fiction books. So, so that's kind of the passion, right? And so okay, so I guess you can talk, but it's just wild, right? The things
You're
the
branching
things you
out.
learn. Yeah, but I'm just saying, well, but the focus is, what successful people are learning, right? And maybe for Elon Musk, learning about the future, right, in science fiction, to make that success happen, okay, to get ideas, right, is where I'm going with this. You get that groundswell and you look for where that idea would come from. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
So
one of those similarities or similar qualities of those, not all of them are born successful. Some
yeah,
people are, not all of them are born successful.
yeah,
Some of them are like reach the rock bottom before they became successful. So not
yeah,
everyone, like every like this period, current period. It's not everyone is like when you open your eyes you're successful
yeah,
already, like
yeah,
except those the parents are billionaires like
yeah.
that, but
I mean, Michael Jordan, right? I mean, his deal with Nike, was legendary, right? And taking a percentage of the the shoes, right? That's like legendary. That's like legendary in business,
but if you
So
see
so
we don't go out of the
okay,
Napoleon Hill.
sorry, yeah, yeah,
So
okay.
if you
Napoleon Hill,
see the studies of Napoleon Hill, those people that he studied,
yeah,
they
in the 1930s,
they
yeah,
have challenges. They had a lot of challenges. They even some even like reach the low point of their lives before they went up.
right. Well, the depression was going on, right? The 1930s is terrible, right? And then also the stock market crashed, right, in 1929. So these are people that survived that, right? So I think that's also a component too that probably isn't discussed very much.
And so based
How
on
to be
these
successful.
studies, based on this study, his studies, a discovery of these people who
Yeah.
often shared similar
What do they
qualities,
have in common?
his mission became helping ordinary people understand and apply some principles that will help other people go through life and be successful too. So
Right.
think of Hill as one of the original success researchers. He didn't just ask what successful people achieve. He asked how, especially that how is important, how they achieved it. He knows, okay, they're already there, they're successful, but how did you achieve your success in the first place?
Yeah, it's the how. That maybe no one had ever asked that question before. Yeah. And we listened to a lot of like different content. I think we talked about that earlier and also in the last episode, so to try to figure out about successful people, right? So there's a lot of famous books, Influence being one of them, right? There's a bunch of them. And so it's basically the idea is this particular Think and Grow Rich, he'd done that before, like maybe he's OG, right? He's done that before that people had thought of it. So it's kind of like going back to the basics, the fundamentals. Yeah.
So currently also like it's not even those people who haven't read the book. Some people are already doing what he did before. Like real examples we have today. We look at those people who are successful and learn them or learn their activities, their actions, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How they became successful, especially if you are so into that person, then you will learn the history and all that. So what are other real life examples that you can give for today's as connected to Napoleon Hill's studies before?
Real life examples.
Like how people are learning other people to be
Well, like I was saying, there are
success.
different mediums that people can learn from.
Yeah.
We talked about that. Yeah. So I think if you want to learn, right, then you're going to keep trying to learn and figure those things out until you get what you want. You get what you need out of it.
Yeah, and unlimited learning about other people through podcasts,
Yeah.
attending seminars, Zoom meetings.
Whatever it is.
Our Zoom meetings with accountability partners or go live, we learn from them. The Millionaires Mastermind that we're doing every Wednesday
Yeah.
in our community, that's unlimited learning. So
Well, and also too, maybe it's a time to figure out. It's like people learn differently, right? So I read, or I fuse off of my teammates, right, and get ideas, and then other people may be more visual. They got to see like
me, I'm more
they got to
visual.
see a YouTube, or
Yeah.
some guy writing on the chalkboard, whatever it is, or
Yeah.
explaining
You
the
like
software,
reading.
So
You like reading.
uh,
Yeah.
uh.
Me, I like visuals.
So I like a combination. So why don't you guys do it for a challenge, right? Just for yourselves, and what do you like? One successful person that you admire, right? That and write down like let's say 3 qualities that help them succeed, right? That you can research, or right? Maybe you know someone personally. Like, oh yeah, Uncle Joe. Okay, well, why is he successful? Well, maybe he's persistent, or whatever those qualities are, right?
Yeah.
So it would be like your challenge to identify what those qualities that you saw, right, in that person that you admire. Yeah.
Yeah. And pick some of those that you want from them, like what they were doing, so be successful, and then you
Yeah.
can pick and choose, pick and choose, pick and choose. You don't need
Well,
to do everything that they're doing, but you can just
No,
from
but
several other people pick this one.
some
pick
of
that
those are
one.
not going to be easy.
Yeah,
Persistence,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
The persistence. People talk about persistence all the time, but it's persistence in the act of failure. It's like getting up again. That's the persistence that I think is being discussed.
Resilience.
Resilience too. Yeah, resilience and persistence are kind of they can be pretty close. It's like, I don't know. It's like Steph Curry didn't wake up in the morning and start shooting 3-pointers, right? I mean that was a decade, or
Training.
how long was that? 2
Yes,
decades. And his father was in
a
the
lot
NBA
of training
too, right?
from his father.
Well, his father was in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of helps, right? It's like, well, don't do this or do this, and maybe that's a persistence, right? Or so talk about basketball,
Persistence plus also the
and the
mentorship,
resilience and the mentorship,
yeah, of the father, right?
It helps to have a mentor, by the way.
Steph Curry.
It really helps to have a mentor.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe the successful person you admire could mentor you, right? That's an idea, and
could mentor you, or directly mentor you, or indirectly mentor you by even without him knowing, without the person knowing, because you are learning how what he did to be successful. That's indirect mentorship.
Yeah,
I call it.
And I've been around some successful people. They're intimidating.
I know.
They think differently than some of us. I mean, it's you have something that you say, and then all of a sudden you feel really small, or you feel that you have one piece of the puzzle and they have a lot more pieces, or maybe they jump like 6 steps ahead of you, and you're like, what just happened? And it's like, well, there's 6 steps ahead of you, so you got to catch up. But hey, I've had to eat some crow, right? And try to figure out, from those people, that I've encountered, and it doesn't always go so well, but sometimes it did go well, So I think that's a key, right? Is don't give up, with and with those people that you want to get something out of them. They know that, right? And so it's a dialogue. It's a kind of like a marriage. To give up we call it give up the Glengarrys. If you watch that movie, you'll understand that. But so to give up the good stuff, that success, you got to be willing to give up something too sometimes,
give
right?
up something too,
or at least let the mentor know that you are interested, and that you're willing to go the mile, right? Not just like, hey, give me all your secrets kind of thing, and I'll sit on my butt.
I was about to say, just lie down.
Are you saying that we're close? Oh, we're so close. We're so mind meld sometimes. Yeah. But,
our minds connect.
But I think that's really the case, right? So that's just my own personal experience. So I've been around some of those people in my life. They're very smart, and I'm so blessed, and humbled, right, to be around them. Kind of, you try to feed off them, right? What is that? I want some more of that, right? They draw you in.
And regarding the feeling of intimidation, if you feel like you are intimidated by them, it's just natural. It's natural. Don't feel bad, because for me, like I also feel that way a lot of times, but let's try to rewire our
Yeah,
brain.
yeah.
That to myself too.
Right.
That
The positive,
yeah,
right?
take the positive
Yeah,
out of the
yeah,
intimidation
yeah,
and take that as a challenge for you to be like them, right?
yeah,
To at least achieve or do things to achieve what they have achieved, even one step at a time, instead of being intimidated and do nothing. Like if you are
yeah,
intimidated and you feel negative, like, okay, I'm not gonna be like them, I cannot be like them, and that's the negative, taking the negative out of the intimidation.
yeah.
So take a challenge and make it a to positive about from the intimidation.
And I will tell you, just again, all this is personal experience. I've been around some very wealthy people sometimes, right? And at least one of them, and you know, I was I didn't understand what was being said, or maybe I felt humiliated, and then years later, I remembered it, right, and I caught up with that concept, that idea, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, that's what they were talking about. So try to at least hold on to the ideas, even though you feel intimidated, okay, or you feel small, or whatever, right? At least listen to the idea that they're saying, okay, even though you may not understand it, or you may not connect with it, okay, because something will happen later in your life, and they'll be like, oh crap, that's what the hell they were talking about, and maybe those pieces will start to fit together. So it's like open mind is what I'm saying. Try to have an open mind, right? It's difficult. Um, it's difficult to have an open mind. Everyone doesn't. So try to have open mind and listen, because that's what happened to me, right? I'm just saying personal experience. I was so like, what the hell are they talking about? They're full of it, and then years later, it all came
You
together.
realize that
I
makes sense.
realized my stupidity.
It makes
Okay,
sense what they're
that it
saying.
made sense, and I was like, how could I miss this? I'm so stupid, and I still feel small, but it came out, and the law of reciprocity, all those kind of things, they sound so weird, but they're people still practice that. So anyways, enough of that.
So
Thank you.
so that's our 2 cents for
That's
tonight.
way more than 2 cents.
Yeah,
So
way more than 2 cents
sorry.
for tonight.
It's like 50 cents.
I hope you at least got something out of this day 3. And tomorrow we will continue discussing all about this Think and Grow Rich. But tomorrow we will talk about Andrew Carnegie,
Yeah, Andrew Carnegie. He's at
the
the heart of
man
all
who
this.
inspired
Yeah.
this entire success study.
Yeah.
So I think he's the one that did it for inspired or
Yeah, he's
started this kind of study.
Yeah, and I mean, a little preview. I mean, Napoleon didn't name a lot of people. A lot of people that were in the book that he got ideas from, but Carnegie actually was. I don't know if you call him a mentor. I'm not really sure their relationship, but he definitely was a person in the book, and he definitely was
Who gave him a
part
chance.
of what, and he could have just opened the door, right?
Yeah.
To those types of things. Yeah, I don't. I have to look at the interrelationship and.
So
before we
we'll
meet.
talk about that tomorrow,
Yeah, we'll
about
talk about
Andrew
that tomorrow,
Carnegie, and then we will relate. We will connect them together. How Andrew Carnegie and Napoleon Hill connected,
Yeah.
right? So that will be tomorrow,
I'll
day
have to do some
4.
homework.
As of
So,
for tonight, that's it for tonight. So we can say goodbye now. Bye bye, good night,
yes, goodbye.
God bless everybody.
Thanks for listening,
Bye.
and yeah, bless you.
Oh,
guys.
and thank you very much for all our viewers, and for all that's gonna uh, watch us later for the replay. We thank you so much, and thank you for all your engagement and for all your support. We will be here
Well said.
every day for the 90 days Think and Grow Rich challenge. Bye.
Bye.
Smile.